Hi everyone, my name is Morgan Ruby and this is my multicultural final oral exam. So before I get into the meat of the presentation, I really just want to give you some background information about myself and my teaching. This is going to be my 8th year of teaching at Hart County High School. There I teach English. And with that, I worked with a wide variety of students, not only through teaching, but also through coaching, and overseeing various clubs and activities. I mentioned that I've taught at the same school for my entire teaching career. And with that, I currently serve as the English department chair, the 11th grade class advisor. I serve on the leadership team, I also serve on school governance, and I am part of the STEAM committee. When I talk about demographics of the school, this past year we had 1,104 students enrolled, with a 38% minority. And with that, 21.1% of our students were Black, and then 9.9% were Hispanic, and approximately 61.9% were white. And then we also had 64% of our students qualify for free and reduced lunch. Hart County High School does have a graduation rate of 95.3, so we do have multiple scaffolds built in to ensure that our students graduate. So that could be Saturday school, completing Odyssey Wear for credit, making up time with a teacher if it's because of attendance, but we do attempt to make sure that our students are in a place to be successful. And then with my education, I actually have a bachelor's in middle grades education in language arts and social sciences, so I do have a little bit of experience with lower grades. However, I have never actually taught on my own, but that experience was still helpful, I feel like, as I've progressed. My master's is in secondary English, and then I'm working through my specialist here at UGA for ed psychology. And with that, I've actually completed 2 gifted endorsement programs, one through Pioneer RESA, and then the second one built into this EDS program. And I've just gotten so much information, and they both presented different perspectives of that information. When we talk about meeting multicultural gifted education objectives, there were 2 that really stood out to me. The first one was number 2, so recognizing prejudice and oppressive institutional structures in education that marginalize gifted students from culturally diverse backgrounds. So when I thought about this, I really thought about specifically the U46 case study that we looked at, and how diverse and socioeconomically disadvantaged students are really just underrepresented in general when it comes to our gifted programs. So even in high school, in the honors classes that we have, where students don't necessarily have to be identified and labeled as gifted, diverse populations are still underrepresented. But on the flip side of that, in the Read 180 ninth Lit class that I currently teach, which is for students who are reading significantly below grade level, I would say almost 60 to 70% of those students are African American students. So there is something going on that hasn't been addressed yet. And then I started to look at the multiple criteria that Hart County uses for gifted identification. And so we use the COGAT, the OLSAT, we'll use the TTCT, we look at GPA, but there's really not any sort of testing that we use that could really be beneficial to our underrepresented populations to help us identify those. And then number 9 was to evaluate personal beliefs and professional experiences related to multicultural gifted education. And so I really came up with 3 different ways that I felt like this course had kind of impacted my own thinking. The first is teaching strategies, so getting to know my students, forming relationships. The second was using current gifted characteristics to determine who should be recommended for honors courses rather than just focusing on those academic grades. So I really kind of thought to myself, like, sometimes students need to see that others believe in them to really grasp that they can achieve anything. And then the third was family involvement, which we have talked about in this class. So really recognizing that not all families are going to be acculturated the same. Not all families are going to be at the same place that I am. And so really just adjusting the conversations that I have to ensure that families are more comfortable. In terms of future plans, short term, I really want to start with my English department and get them on the same page of embracing the updated gifted characteristics, embracing to, make adjustments and scaffold even more to ensure that our students are where they need to be and receiving the education that they need. I would really like to discuss more with our special services coordinator, which I'll talk more about in the next slide with the individual. Infuse more culturally relevant teaching practices into my own classroom, and really just further my communication with communities and families. Long term, I would really like to see myself maybe as a gifted programming coordinator, possibly an assistant principal, or maybe even a professor. I do want to complete a doctorate that's centered around leadership or multicultural education or something similar. And then I would really like to conduct my own research in the area of multicultural education and become published. Now when I move on to networking and collaboration with my organization, I wanted to focus on HYDRA, which is the Hart Youth Development Resource Association that is in Hart County. It was really developed to kind of bridge gaps for our youth. It's located in Hart County near the middle school, so it's super accessible, but they serve any student that can attend. And they have a variety of programs and activities that they've designed and that they kind of create as they go to meet the unique needs. They have after school programs, summer camps, school break camps, tutoring, but I would really love to network and collaborate with HYDRA to be able to provide students of all ages the supports that they need in order to be more successful. And then I would also like to collaborate with Dr. Julie Franklin, who is the Special Services Coordinator for Hart County Charter System. She is responsible for SPED and gifted services. They both fall under the same umbrella, so she is that particular servicer. But I would really like to support and work with her to build a more equitable gifted program, just because I feel like there's so much that we could do. And with the productive collaboration, I would like to work with her to determine testing options for diverse students, lead professional development to inform and support our teachers as they work with diverse students and as they work to enhance the learning of those diverse students. And I would really love to work with her on reconstructing the gifted programming manual for the district. And that is my final oral exam. So much to pack into 8 minutes, but thank you very much.